Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. Super excited to have you here with me, Lumberjack Landlord. 153 units or 52 units, 53 buildings. Been doing it for over 20 years, and that's why likely you should probably listen to me. So, the thing that I wanted to get into already, just because I'm more than a little bit tired of reading it, I know that we're family, so I can trust you with my feelings, and that you won't judge. Honest to God, I could not be more sick and tired of people complaining that there's no deals, guys. And then people are like, "Oh, well, my market's just not as easy as yours." Yeah, that's the problem. Or maybe it's that I'm massively more skilled than you. Like, that could be it. Guys, this is what I want for you. This is the only reason I need to do this show. That's it. I already know what I'm doing. I'm already buying more property. I'm already have 3 more deals in the mix. I can find deals. I can create deals. I can get deals from nothing. The only reason I do this show is because I want to help you guys get your deals and find out better ways to get deals. So one of the really interesting things is maybe a couple weeks ago, I did my very first recorded video. And boy, how long was it? It's been a long time. It was probably like 2 years. I think I've only done lives for the last 2 years, just because I don't have the time to sit in my studio and do stuff. And very often when I'm working on something that I'm then going to put in the course. So I've got 3 big things that are going to hit in the course. I've got a specific Section 8 piece to the entire course. It's not going to be extra for you. You don't have to pay any more for it. If you're in the course, you get it. I've got a lead course, which is, this is exactly what the process is when you get hit with a lead order. And that's happening more and more and more. So I want to make sure you guys know exactly what the process is step by step. I'm also working on something, which I think is pretty awesome right now, which is, this is the process for actually figuring out zoning and then how you get additional units approved in those zones. Yeah, guys, if you only want to buy off the MLS, yeah, of course I can help you. But then you're always subject to what the MLS brings you and what everybody else in your market is trying to do. Do you believe that there's no other investors in your market? Do you believe that you're the best investor in your market? Do you believe that you're the most liquid or can create the easiest deal or are the most savvy when you get in front of them? How's all those low priced offers going? Are those going really well? Yeah, because I saw a bunch of low priced offers in the last month and they were laughable. They were laughable. I saw people offering, "Oh, it's a hard market, 150, 160." And the place is selling for 200. And this is on something where teardowns sell for 2 or 250. So what I want to focus on with you guys is, how do we get out of the doldrums of not finding consistent deal flow? How do we change that? Guys, I gave you the answer in that video. I gave you the answer. I spent the last 6 months working on the problem, because it wasn't like, hey, and again, as humbly as I can say it, I hope I'm more skilled than you. I've been doing it for 24 years or 23 years. So yeah, and I've done it 100 times. So hopefully, yeah, I'm a little bit more skilled. Now, that being said, I had to find a way that I could actually help you guys get on the bandwagon and be able to do this. And I had to find something that you guys could execute on. Well, I did that. I went all over hunting, looking for a wholesaler company that can meet all of your needs nationally and help you create opportunities. Because again, this is offensive and I'm sorry if this bothers you, but truthfully, let's just all agree on these things, that this is truth. Maybe you're bad in front of other people. Maybe you shouldn't ever talk to other people, and you should only really do that in the lunchroom and leave your awkward conversations there. And you don't have the skill to actually have a buying conversation. And you could take Pace Morby's course 1,000 times, or Zoob's or anybody else's, and it's not going to make you good talking to people. It isn't. But you know what could? What could is, what if we could move that piece away? What if, instead of having to make those cold calls, which all you guys have jobs, you don't have time to do that stuff. So what if I put you in front of somebody that had 15,000 hours of results and trained an international team that now uses dialers to call into the States to create opportunities for you? Guys, I created 80 opportunities in 120 days. Now, I had a more expensive package, yes. But guys, I put that in front of you. I put it in front of you because I know Jen. I didn't know her 6 months ago. I know her now. Chick's a rock star, and she won't mind that I called her chick. And if she does, too bad, Jen. You're a chick, and I'm a dude. And guys, this is an unbelievable opportunity. Right now, there is so much flux in the market. Do you want to pay retail? Do you want to literally think about this? Do you want the car that goes to auction, that everyone's there to buy a car, and you want to go and you want to pay more than everybody else in the room on that car because you believe that there's something special about it? Or maybe you create your own deal. Maybe you have a wholesaler create the deal for you. And then your job is picking up the phone and having a conversation. And that's not a wheeler dealer thing, like trying to get a call back. That's literally, they've already done that for you. All you're doing is engaging with them and having a conversation. Yeah, I know you spoke with so-and-so and they said that you were considering selling. I'd love to just talk about that. You know, what were your goals? What were your goals? Chris Culp has asked that I do a sales training. He's asked that I do a sales training. I have 27 years experience in enterprise sales. I've sold hundreds of millions of dollars of product. And so, yeah, I think the right thing is to do a sales thing for you guys. So if you are in the course, I'm also going to do I'm not going crazy because I used to teach some of those sales training classes and they were awful and they were 2 weeks long. And they were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of work. It sucked. They were horrible. They usually teach them over an entire class, but you can look at something called Solution Selling by Sam Bosworth. The 9-box effect is essentially how I sell. And the rule that you have to learn and understand is telling ain't selling. Telling ain't selling. You can tell if a seasoned sales guy is not trying to sell you. It's when I keep on talking. I'm not trying to sell you on the idea. Believe what you will. I'm just trying to make sure to communicate my point across. Say yes, say no. I'm good either way. So one of the things based on what Chris has asked for, I certainly will put that in the course. But guys, I'm serious. I know that a number of you have reached out to Jen. I know a number of you have started off with packages. Guys, I get no kickback. I don't see a dime for it. I don't. The only thing I'm doing is following up with her to make sure you guys are good. That's it. And I want to hear your experiences. Again, 120 days with the package that I picked. I got 80 leads. I got 80 leads and 2 or 3 of them, excuse me, 2 or 3 of them I'm purposely not pushing on because I don't want them to say yes yet. I'm not ready. And yeah, most people suck at sales. Almost no salesperson was sitting there and like, oh yeah, I absolutely love sales and I love the grind. And no, it's hard. That's why sales guys make a lot of money. It's hard. They're creating the relationships and trying to align with the client. But again, the most important thing that you can do is I'll set you up on how to have those conversations. In fact, in the boot camp, there are only 3 spots left in the boot camp. Here's one of the packages that I'm going to commit to you guys in the boot camp. If you want to, in the boot camp, I will do a role play with you. Don't get weird. I know my crew. You're weird. But I will literally you can see it and we will take turns and we can do a 5-minute example back and forth. Just going back and forth with each other. And I will give you objections and I'll say, okay, see, here's where you can make a step here. And here's where you go around this. And then here's where you get through on that. And I will teach you guys how to do that. We will spend an entire class on it in the boot camp. Now, the challenging thing is I can't record the boot camp and then make it available to you guys. So I'll try and do something for just the course folks. I will try and give you something, but it won't be able to role play because it's not dynamic. It's static. But this is the stuff that I want to do for you guys because I could not be more sick and tired of hearing about how there's no deals. I promise there are deals. I promise there are likely. Yeah, Culper, I'm going to get you. You're the one who suggested it. Now I have to do it. Culp. So there's unbelievable amounts of opportunity. The issue is if you're only, and guys, You know, Dion's the only MLS guy. He's a lazy guy. I love my brother. I love D. I love him so much that I'm staying with him when I go out in Vegas. I love Dion. But if you want to get some ick on you, if you want to actually learn how to do this and create opportunities where you set the price or you set the terms, where you can actually create a deal from vapor, literally from nothing. This is how you scale a business. My business didn't scale very well the first 10 years. Why? Great financial crisis. I had tons of debt. All I could do was house hack because Fannie Freddie locked me down to 4 loans. And so my only option was house hacking. And I wasn't doing off-market deals. Guys, it was 15 years before I did my first off-market deal. I can't have that happen to you. If it does, it's your fault, because I'm going to give you all the things that you need to get there. If you're in the course, that's the purpose of the course. I can only do so much here on a live stream, but in that course, I can show you some of the tactics that we use. And when I say tactics, it's not like, oh, that's tricky. People like smart. People don't like clever. So I'm always going to present to you, this is the way that we actually are able to do this and actually win deals. Guys, my last 5 deals, one of them was an MLS deal. That's how it works. Hey, Autumn, good to see you. But that's why I want to help you guys do something different. And again, I don't get a dime off of Jen, but it's another way, or her services. It's another way for you guys to open up the opportunity jar and understand how to do this stuff. So there's only 3 spots in the boot camp left. 3. That's it. And we start this Saturday. Our first class is this Saturday, and then we're out for 2 weeks because the following Saturday is the ORAT conference. And then the following Saturday we pick up and we go 11 weeks straight to the finish line. And that way, going into the spring and summer season, you guys have ideas, new strategies, and you're executing. You don't need 100 deals, you need 1. But wouldn't you rather look at 100 deals that other investors aren't looking at? Come on, guys. It's just common sense, right? Why introduce competition? Do you think, with how unhandsome most of you men are out there, do you really think that if your room was in a room of a bunch of other men and you, that you were going to win? No, you won because you found some really smart way to not have her in that room with a bunch of other smarter, more handsome men. I know who I am. Yeah, I set up the game to make sure that I had a better chance of winning. And it's about alignment. The true story is that when it really comes to mate selection, it's a lot like houses. Just because it's available doesn't mean it's one that you should buy. Just because they're available doesn't mean there's someone you should date. So I want to teach you guys that. But again, that's my rant because I'm kind of tired of reading the comments. It's not that hard. There are deals in every market. There's some asset in that market that you can find a deal on that will cash flow and make you money. There's just no doubt in my mind. There's just no doubt. There's absolutely no doubt. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that. And we're doing that in the boot camp. You have to be in the course in order to get into the boot camp. And like I said, 3 spots left. That's it. So yeah, if you want the boot camp, that's what you got to do. Whew. Thank heavens. All right, guys, let's jump in. Let's have some fun. Old REI guy. What's up, Frank? How are you? Dion wannabe. Who is that? That's nice. That's awesome. Have you met Dion yet? Do you know exactly what you want to be? Good evening, Wayne. Good to see you, sir. All-nighter hider. Good to see you, pal. BuzzTune, Jim Van Tassel. Hi, Jim. I'm excited, ready to get you in that course. Ready to go, my man. Sean Lambert, how are you, sir? Dennis the Menace, how are you? Robert Farinelli, how are you, my friend? 4th times ago in the class. I'm ready to go with you. Very excited to do that. If you're wondering what I'm watching on my phone, I'm just trying to make sure we had it's freezing, absolutely frigid outside. And so I just wanted to make sure we do have some incoming and ongoing stuff right now with how absolutely frigid it is. We actually got 5 inches of snow today. And that first big snow of the year, the crazy thing is everybody sits there and goes, oh my gosh, it snowed. Yeah. This is in New Hampshire. It snows all winter long, especially January, February, and March. Like that's where we get almost all of our snow. So anyway, and it was freezing. I'm trying to look. Actually, what is the? Let's see. Today was 11. Today got 11. Today it was 11. Monday night. So a couple nights from now, it's supposed to be 5, which means the wind chill will be really cold. And we're supposed to get snow 4 out of the next 5 nights. Oh, man, that sucks. But I love it here. And I'm dumb because I'm not going anywhere. So away it goes. Hey, CJ, how are you, my friend? Jason Calasabetta, good evening. Liz, hey, Matt and everyone. Hi, Liz. Hey, Oscar, good to have you. Laser Focus Solutions Media. Hey, you are definitely more skilled. I'm on year 2 of trying to secure owner financing on a college rental portfolio. Is it the same portfolio? Or is that what you're searching for, trying to be able to buy? I guess is the question. Don't worry. I'm very not distracted. Okay, maybe I'm a little distracted. But anyway, Big Hill, happy dinner time live, everyone. Yeah, it's 9:18 here. So dinner was a few hours ago. Then the kids in bed. Then I did some paperwork. Then I actually worked on the presentation with my wife for the conference, which I'm very excited about with you guys, obviously. But yeah, that'll be a good time. Let's see here. Wealth with Rentals, good evening. Liz, just started using Jennifer's VA today and already getting leads. Thank you so much for sharing her with us. Liz, this is what we do, right? Like, I want to bring to you guys solutions. Now, here's the other thing too. It's going to take you guys time to get good at this. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. That's not a bad thing. It's going to take you time. So don't get frustrated when you don't turn the first one into a deal. That only happens for Fair and Ellie. But this is the stuff that you want to be looking at. This is the stuff that you need to be focusing on, which is steps, creating a funnel. And hey, just because your first call sucked, in 60 or 90 days, they probably aren't going to remember you when you follow up again, and you're going to be that much better that time. This is a name that forever goes into your portfolio of somebody that you can call to potentially do a deal with until they sell. How awesome is that? Guys, that's not a lead just right now. That's a lead forever until they sell. Until they sell. I've literally seen people hold on to deals that I've done it myself. It was so crazy. I was telling a story about somebody else and I was like, you know what? This is crazy. I actually did this myself. I had a deal. The guy wanted, I think it was like 100, I think it was 100 or 110 grand. The problem is there were tens of thousands of dollars of liens on the property. He had just gone into massive financial trouble. Wasn't good. Everything went sideways for him. But here's, again, the crazy part is that we have the conversation. There were 2 comps of something that sold right nearby. They were distressed properties and they sold for like, I don't know, an all-time low. It's the lowest number I've ever seen in all of my city. It's the lowest number I've ever seen for that type of a property ever. And sadly, when he came to me, that's what I used as a comp and I couldn't make it work. So I ended up waiting, and literally 45 days later, I called him because I saw that we were a couple of newer comps. I'm like, dang, comps just flipped. They doubled. That was just a crazy one-off. So I was like, now I can actually get the thing for a deal if he just is willing to do the same price. He did the same price. Bought it for 100. I put 150 into it. I was $250,000 into it. It just appraised for 700,000. But more importantly, that property does $6,000 a month in rent. Or more. No, $6,400 a month in rent that place does. Like, you know, this is what I want to teach you guys to do. You guys can do it. I know you can. I know you're going to be nervous. I know you're going to, you know, have those Napoleon Dynamite moments where you run off of the stoop, but you don't even have to see them in person. How awesome is that? Have courage. It's just a conversation. I'll teach you how to have that conversation. We're going to do it in the boot camp. You got to be in the course in order to get into the boot camp. And again, 3 spots. That's it. 3 spots left in the boot camp. That's it. Kadia 14. Good to see you. Matt, being offensive, what I come here for. Yeah, Robert, I was just so annoyed because I took the time to sit down and answer a bunch of questions. And I just saw one complaint after another about that there's no deals. Yeah, there's no deals on MLS. because that's literally a game of chicken of who's going to be the one dumb enough to pay the most. That's what MLS is. That's what it is. Create the opportunity, create the deal, have conversations, like learn the zoning. I spent 2 hours, guys. I spent 2 hours with my attorney and a planner, a surveyor planner today. That 2-hour meeting cost me $1,000. 3 projects. I'm going to get out of that meeting. 3 projects. This is what you guys can start doing. This is how you elevate the game. And again, you don't have to do it forever. You don't have to be year 23 and doing it, but you could be year 5 and doing it. And what if you were year 5 and doing it? Think about that. What if the third, fourth, fifth year you end up doing a deal like that? That's going to vastly change the complexion of your business. That's what I want to see for you guys. Flavio, good to see you. Robert Fairnley, I second the sales class. I suck at that. Yeah, but that's fine. I'll teach you just the few things. The biggest thing is leaving what I call, so here's what you do when you're really not good at sales. To get better at it, not just to sit there and suck at it. Somebody speaks and give it an awkward pause. Count it in your head if you need to. Awkward pause, awkward pause. Validate what they said, just with a response of, okay. And then kind of walk through what you believe your answer should be or is going to be. But just say, so, and even tell them, I just kind of want to think about this out loud. And so you're saying this, and this is that, and that's this, and blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. This is how you just have that conversation. But always think when they're talking, just listen. Telling ain't selling. Listening to understand if you can create an alignment there, that's selling. Because it's really not, a sale doesn't happen like a car sales guy. I closed them. I hate that terminology. Hate it. I believe that a sale happens when there's alignment. I need a car. You're selling cars. You made me feel comfortable that that this is what I need. It's going to meet my needs. And that I believe that if there's a problem that you're going to take care of it and back me up. That's what makes a transaction, not some silver-tongued snake oil salesman that goes in there and just says, but what? Nope. Alignment. Selling is about alignment. Selling is about getting on the same page. That's what it is. I hate it when people track me down on social media. The real me. It's a tenant. That's annoying to me. Like they don't have enough access. CJ, our package kicks off on Monday. Very awesome. Committing for 3 months to see what we can generate. Didn't buy a deal last year. We're changing that in 2025. Bro, that's what I'm talking about. This is what we need to be doing. This is what's got to happen, guys. Are you real estate researchers or real estate investors? Investing means you bought something and you put your money somewhere. But we got to stop with the idea that MLS is enough. Yeah, it might be. Do you want to be a half hour from where you are? Maybe you don't. And then this is how we fix this. Dennis Messes, can you give a 5-minute example of how info from Jen's VAs would work? I won't give you a 5-minute example. That's really long. Weekly leads sent to us. We ask about a handful and then they follow up with a seller, or do we follow up? You can do both. Yeah, you can do both. That's the best part about this is you can do both. It's entirely up to you. What do you want to do? Do you want to have them follow up and get it to a point where they're just like, hey, yeah, this is something like, let's get in there and talk about price. I wouldn't want to give them that much authority and freedom because you need to learn how to structure that deal. That's what we're going to talk about. We can certainly talk about that in the boot camp. But again, this is what's critical is that the 5-minute example, again, too long, but here's a 60-second example. They get hired. You tell them what type of property you're looking for. And then you tell them what towns you're looking for it in. And then they do a package where they look at it and they go, hey, listen, there's 8,000 opportunities like that. And we can call through that list in about 4 to 6 weeks. Meaning a fraction of the week. And that's kind of the package that they do is it's less than $1,000 a month. And again, do you want a deal or not? Like if you don't want a deal and you just want to keep on waiting MLS and you just keep on getting beaten, Go that route. Or you can try and create your own deal, because you don't think you're going to save a few $1,000 when you create your deal from nothing over having to buy on MLS and it's a competition. Of course you're going to create the better deal. Of course you are. It's math. We all know how much I love math. Wealth Building Journey. Good evening, Matt. Good evening, sir. Chris Culp. Man, just biting my tongue. Culper, you're going first. Liz, will the sales part of the course basically explain the best way to follow up with these leads to close the deal? Yeah. Yep. That's what I'm going to do for you guys. Basically say, hey, if I get this lead, I mean, it's about having a conversation, because I can't think of absolutely every single scenario, right? It's much more, in sales, there's a few things that you can say to get to the bottom of what people are trying to essentially get you to the bottom of, right? And that is, things like, what's a good example? I think a good example would be, so help me understand why that's important to you. Because they might say they need X, Y, or Z. Why is that important to them? Why is that important to you? How does that then impact the deal as you're negotiating it? One of the things that people talk about all the time, right, is they're sitting there and looking at this process. They're sitting there and looking at this process and they're saying, hey, this is the only way, this is the only answer. I was working with a student today and they said, hey, I'm just going to offer this price. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. If you're at the bar and you just introduce yourself and you go, hi, my name is, and could we jump in the sack together? The girl that says yes to that is not probably the girl that you want. So the idea is progressing, just having a conversation. You're not trying to close them. You're not trying to get them to sell to you. You're trying to understand where they're coming from, what their need is, because the hardest part's been done. You found somebody who was found for you that's interested in your market based on your criteria, that is interested in selling their property. That's the hardest part. Hardest part's not the close. It isn't. Not in this game. The hardest part is identification of opportunity. That's the hardest part. Thanks, Dennis. I appreciate that. I didn't see that. You're good. You're good, man. You're good. You're good. You'll get it in the course. Trust me. Robert Farinelli, I need the role play, but you have to pretend to be a zoning board. Oh, you're not going to like that at all. I'm just going to go, no. And you're going to go, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to go, no. And then I'm going to go, no. That's how zoning boards work. I'm kidding. Many of them work that way because the people didn't bring what they were supposed to bring to prepare the board to give them a yes. That's why most of those things fail. Yeah, exactly. Kadia. Matt, thanks for those. Thanks for these weekly advice sessions. Haven't been feeling great. So we'll post my questions from going through course modules and listen after. Yeah, sure. No problem. Thanks in advance. You're very welcome. When evaluating applications, do you still collect and review applications in a batch, awarding most qualified, or do you review in order and award first qualified? No, I want to look at everything. And that's why a lot of times, so we have an open house on Saturday at one of our units. Agent Emma, who does a great job for us. She is going to be there. I think it's 5 or 6 showings she has on Saturday. And so she'll basically say, hey, everybody, we need to have all of your paperwork in as quickly as possible. Ideally, we have all your paperwork in by Sunday night, and then we'll have a decision for you on Monday. If we see somebody that jumps off the page and meets all of our criteria, then yeah, I'm not going to keep on waiting if they're ideal. However, in very many cases, we find that, if there's 5 things we're looking for, there's 2 or 3 people that might have 4 out of the 5, and it's which one do they not have? That's the biggest question for us. And then we go with the one we feel most comfortable with. So I always want to be pulling from a number as opposed to pulling from one. When I use my ads, I don't know how you guys are finding, but when I've talked to other landlords that are in the course, obviously when they use the ads, they're getting a lot more rings than they used to get, i.e. ups or opportunities. So they're seeing a lot more than they used to see, which is good. But then it's that process of, and this is where we're really hammering process. Thursday it gets posted, Thursday night and Friday is all the interactions, getting them pre-qualified to show up for Saturday to then do the open house. And then if it looks like it's good, then it's like, okay, kind of looks like we're good here. Like this is probably a good idea. So that's what ends up happening. And then we execute. But again, my preference isn't like I have to see 40 applications. My preference is I'd like to see all the ones from that open house and see if we have a good fit. Jim Van Tassel. Looking forward to boot camp. I have an offer on a property now. Looking at 2 more, all major rehabs. I like it, Jim. The only thing I would caution you on is don't get over your head. We've had a couple students that got a little bit overboard. And so when that happened, when they did get a little bit overboard, they got building rich and project poor, and cash flow was painful. And they had to start borrowing money, and then you get unfavorable terms. These are all the bad things that happen that I don't want to see happen to you guys. So what's the best approach? The best approach is, even for me, I don't want more than a couple projects going on, and I've done this a long time. And the reason why is because you can have delays. There's all sorts of issues that you can get. So I just don't want those things to happen to you guys. A balmy 42 here in the DC area. My bones ache hearing a whole yeah, it's so cold. It's so cold. Yes. Yep. Let's see. Kadia, what language do you use in the lease that states tenants are given appliances but are responsible for repairs and replacement, must leave appliances when they leave? I don't do that. I don't do that because in my market, that's not acceptable. In my market, every place comes with appliances. And most tenants, do you think it's really fair? Think of it this way. Do you think it's really fair if, do you think it's fair if you were to, if they had a 10-year-old, a 10-year-old fridge when they moved in and the thing dies in 6 months or a year? Like, that's not reasonable, right? Like, just put yourself in the person's shoes. Kadia, you're in that apartment. You rented that apartment. You signed off saying I'm responsible for the appliances and repairs. You're there 6 months. That thing dies or needs a $600 or $700 repair. Do you think that's fair? I don't think that's fair. Appliances are your responsibility as a landlord. There are different markets around the country, like in Gary, Indiana, because the rent is so cheap, where a lot of times people buy their own appliances and then they take them place to place. That's not a horrible option. Again, the real issue here is, and what can end up being the real problem is that it's kind of getting you to the point of unreasonable. If somebody's having to move in and they're paying $3,000 or $4,000 to move in, right, with deposits and all of this other stuff, or first and last and deposit, and then on top of that, they got to do what? Buy appliances or worry that yours are going to break? Like, not the path. So I don't do it that way. And I would encourage you not to, unless that is the standard in your market. Local rules rule. Neil, better than the last few weeks here in DC. Very good. 80 today in Charleston. Wow. Very nice. Grew up in central New York State. I don't miss it. Yeah, it's chilly. It gets cold this time of year. Liz, what CRM are you using to keep track and follow up on these leads? Guys, a spreadsheet. That's it. Just a spreadsheet. Don't use a CRM. Just a spreadsheet. And there's tons of free ones out there. There's tons of them. There's one that I used years and years and years. It was called Goldmine. But quite frankly, a spreadsheet's fine. If I put in the spreadsheet, here's all the information, I just cut and paste based on the note that Jen would send me. Cut and paste that, put it in the spreadsheet, and then I put the important dates. Talk to them at this date, and this was the conversation. Follow up on this date. And then I put a link, and then I put a note in my calendar saying follow up on this date. That's it. And how many leads are you going to create, right? Like, you might create 20 leads, 30 leads, 40 leads, 50 leads, 100 leads. But what's the frequency in which you're following up on those 100? Because they all come in over the course of like 2 or 3 months. So then your follow-up with them is one's going to, some are going to be in a couple of weeks, some are going to be in a couple months, and some are going to be in 6 months. So you're never going to have more than like 5 to 7 calls in a week following up on these leads. That's all you're going to have. That's what I would strongly encourage you guys to do. Just use a spreadsheet for now. I wouldn't bother, because you can always migrate from a spreadsheet. You can always, push that stuff up into a CRM. For me, I don't love the extra cost of CRMs and having to take care of them. Robert Fairley, yeah, I shouldn't do another seller finance deal. Don't worry to lose my 1-to-1 record. Yeah, exactly. Right. We care so much about the record. We won't do another seller finance deal. Wealth of Rentals. How would you buy a property with a foundation problem, and what loan type would you use if the property produces good cash on cash? Wealth of Rentals, same way I would buy anything else. The key for me, and I just looked at a deal this week, has a foundation problem. It's got $12,000 worth of foundation work that needs to be done. What I did was I didn't waste my time with some jackass inspector. I got in there with a foundation guy and I said, yeah, look at it. And I asked the seller, I just said, can we just get in there and take a look at it? Is that cool? We go in there, we take a look at it, and he hears what the guy has to say. And then I call him back up and I said, hey, listen, you saw it. What do you think? And the guy goes, yeah, you're 10 grand on the light side, 12 to 15 on the high side. Well, guess what? 12 to 15. Hold on one second. All right. So what I would say is, so we have that foundation deal. See how I can easily just pick up right where I left off. And so we accounted that for part of the price, and they're kind of thinking about like what they want to do. And I said, I got the best price you're going to see. Anybody else coming in here is going to have to get $20,000 worth of work done. I can do it for 10, 12. And I said, so they're going to take a bigger chunk out of you. They're going to take more money. Number one. Number two is it's going to scare them more. Guys, what are the top 3 things that scare the most out of us when we're trying to buy a house? Right? It's foundation. It's a heating system. It's electrical. It's something big foundation. Like that's the big stuff, right? Because not everybody has a foundation guy that they can just pick up and get on the phone. I get that. I'm not special. But because I've done them before, I know the right guys to call and have a conversation with. It depends on the kind of foundation. Here in our area, there's 4 different kinds of foundations. 4. And most guys have a specialty. It's just welcome to investing in the Northeast, which a lot of times is very hard. Rankin projects. Nobody ever says they miss the cold weather. That's true. That's true. Yep. The challenge is usually when they leave here and they go to a southern part of the country, they then try and move back here because they miss family, friends, blah, blah, blah. And you know what ends up happening? They can't move back in because it got too expensive. That happens all the time here. It's kind of crazy. Neil, can you talk about deals you acquired in 2024 that cash flowed well at recent prices and rates? I bought deals in 2024 and they cash flowed at the price that I bought them at and the rate that I bought it with. So again, for me, it was in the deals that I did some off market. I did some wholesale. I did some pocket listing. We did one where I called my agent and I just said, hey, Jay, we need to call a bunch of people. And he's like, all right. And I said, this is what we're kind of looking for. We basically said small multifamily, 4 units or less. What do you have? And he spent and I spent kind of 2 days messaging a bunch of people, calling a bunch of people that I knew, people that I didn't know, people that I wished I didn't know, people that I wished I did know. All of that stuff happened. And guess where we got to? We ended up getting a deal done. Worked out. It wasn't the best deal in my portfolio ever, but it's still like a 13 or 14% return. So consistently, I'm still finding these deals, but a lot of times it's through network, it's through connection. It's also understanding where to get debt. I get debt. I get I get good priced debt. Yep. It's because I've already warmed that relationship. It's not a cold call when I'm calling a bank. I've already had the conversation with them. Oh yeah. Hey, this is, we talked back a few months ago, guys, that's the magic. This is relational. This is very relationship driven. No one has ever said, oh my gosh, thank God he's here. No one's ever said that. Ever. Except for maybe my wife when there's a poopy diaper. Let's see. Yeah, CJ. Dennis is he was from Midwest New York or middle of New York, and I know that that's your area. Yeah. Kadia, when you get a property with tenants who are well below market, do you send the intro letter and make major fixes, upgrades at their current rent? Yes, I do. How soon aggressive do you raise rents? I don't soon. I'm at least 90 to 180 days. Why? Because I want to see what things that they request. I want to see how they are to work with as tenants. I want to see how they keep house now that I've made these upgrades and changes to them. Are they a difficult tenant? Are they constantly calling about something every other week? It's something else. And it's like, I know the place isn't that bad. Or what are the things that you're bothering me with? Oh, well, the smoke detector needs a battery. Like, kind of F you, like, go get a battery. Go get a battery, you know? And so that's the kind of opportunity. Those are the kind of conversations that we have with the tenants. We want to kind of see how dynamic they are and how they interact. The other thing too is I don't want to be doing this in December or January or February when it's a freezing cold month. So what ends up happening is after the 5 or 6 or after the 3 to 6 months, we're then having the conversation and saying, then we're doing my version of the binder strategy, which is I do it via text. And that works out really, really well. Honestly, that works out really, really well. Laura San Diego, good to see you. Robert Farinelli, one MLS deal worth pursuing because you could potentially add an extra unit. But yeah, other than that, MLS has no deals. Yeah, that's what you find almost in every market. Wealth Building Journey, thanks for putting that link up. Yeah, Mike Bosworth is the one who wrote that. And then Sam Bosworth, it was kind of cool. Sam Bosworth was the one who was the trainer. And I did that course, and holy cow, that course was brutal. That course was about 90 hours into a week. More than a little bit crazy. Boot camp, there we go. There's the course link if you guys want to hit that. Don't just buy the course blindly. Watch the syllabus. Watch the 16-minute syllabus video that I did. Watch that video. See if it's going to fit you and what you're trying to do. And if it's not, that's okay. I'm not your guy. Hey, D, what's up, pal? The hardest part is not being jealous of Matt's beard. D, he's funny. He's funny. I like traveling with Deanna. It's actually kind of fun. If he's still traveling when my kids are older, we'll probably do trips. I can't wait to do a trip with him. It's a good time. I apologize. The course link, adding boot camp link in a second. Cool. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. All right. Key. Hey, Key. How are you, my friend? I hope all is well with you. Kadia 14. Finally, instead of sending formal warning letter, can a warning message to a tenant in their portal also be enforceable in court? I don't like it that way. No, because they can then say, I didn't get it. And so what you do is I post it on the door and I take a picture. I like that better. I post it on the door. I take a picture, and guess what? I'm actually in pretty good shape at that point, because if it does end up going to court, in fact, we went to court this last week, and frankly speaking, got an absolutely massive win. Yeah, absolutely massive win. It was a dominant win, if I do say so myself. But I was super thrilled to, super thrilled to get that win. It was just so big. Once, I think, when can I share that? I don't know. I have to talk to my attorney. You know what? I will share that in the boot camp. There's stories that I can't share here that I can share in the boot camp. We'll share that in the boot camp. Josh Coster, what's up, pal? Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. I'm sorry, I missed the second part of your question, Kadia. Do you copy the Section 8 caseworker? Thanks again. You're very welcome. I'm happy to do it for you. Yes, anytime I give a notice to a tenant, I scan it in, I make a copy, and I email it to them. Yep, 1,000%. That's exactly what I do. Yep, for sure. Larry Bird, what's going on, pal? The man, the myth, the legend from French Lick. It's a sale by Bird. Robert Farinelli, de-iced on painting some kitchen cabinets. Cabinets are nice, maple, in good shape. Granite countertops in place. Primer of choice for cabinets, planning on using shellac. Yeah, just use like a Zinsser or a Bins. If you've already got that thing clear, that's what you're going to want to use. You're going to want to use something like that for sure. The weather hasn't been this good in DC for 4 years. Man, there's some people going apoplectic down there now. P.S. By the way, for those of you who don't know, this lovely, amazing spokesperson that Trumpy has, she's from New Hampshire, Caroline Levitt. I can tell you there's going to be more fire in those press conferences than you know what to do with. She does not suffer fools. She is phenomenal. She is absolutely awesome. I think she is absolutely tremendous. Huge fan of hers. Wish she had won something here. But we'll lend her to Washington for 4 years and she can, bring people to tears there over the next couple of years. It's kind of fun. Rankin Projects, Burr is almost done. Love that. Autumn was in the course, took the course. We created a strategy of, hey, here's how we manage this. Here's how we move forward. Let's find out the best way to create better cash flow faster. She did an awesome job doing all of that work, putting those things together. Queen Double Wide, check her out on Facebook. You should be watching what she's doing. She is innovative, and I appreciate that. In our state, sadly, those are tough to do. I would love to do some trailer parks, but in our state, there's co-op rules and there's just a lot of heavy lifting there. Angel R, Lumberjack, does your market require a business privilege tax? No, no. My best cash flowing property has a small rent-based fee. Annoying year filing. Government overreach is wild. So that's something we need to talk about. We need to talk about where you invest. You need to find out all of these stupid type of rules because that is stupid and that's massive overreach. The government's not reaching into my pocket and taking part of my earnings. F you guys. If that's the case, I'll sell what I got and I'll go somewhere else. Thank you very much. And then you can wonder why there's no affordable housing. Because when I sell, everything is going to get more expensive. Come on. That's just silly. Wealthwood Rentals, the lender said it can't close if there is a foundation issue. So I'm trying to figure out how to proceed. Yeah. So here's what you need to do. So that means it's probably a Fannie. I don't know this, but I'm just guessing. Is it a Fannie? Put down below. Is it a Fannie Freddie? If it is a Fannie Freddie, that's the reason, because they have condition stuff. And the reason that they don't allow those things is because they don't want you to have that massive expense after you close. And so what very often works is you could pay more for the house. Even on a Fannie Freddie deal, you can get the seller to give a 3.5% credit. What you can do is you can get quotes from multiple professionals. Then you can have the seller. You can say, I'll pay you 10 more grand or whatever 3.5% is. I'll pay you that much more for the house. I want you to take that and I want you to put it into an escrow account. And then when we actually execute on one of these deals, at that point, then the money gets released to the contractor and we're good. A lot of times that's a pretty creative strategy that does actually work. I already asked Dion and the other fellow investors, and they have great ideas like maybe escrow. Yeah, there you go. Escrow 50-40-10. Yep. Renovation loan. All ideas are great. You can do all of those. Yeah. I mean, you could do a lien against your place and do a HELOC. Construction loan. If it's smaller, you could do something called a 203 or a 203K. A 203 is a fully documented Fannie based construction loan. And then you have an as is and an as complete value. And then your other option is you could actually do just a regular construction loan, or you can do something called a 203K streamline, where they basically give you the money, half of it up front. And then they give you the other half when they send an inspector through when they finish. That's how it goes. They want to make sure that they're not bankrolling a house that didn't actually become a house. Liz, do you think Burr or HML and refi into DSCR but keeping the 20-25% in the deal rather than pulling it out is too risky? No. For someone with real estate construction background, no. No, I don't think that's too risky. I don't think so. I mean, I guess risky for what? Would be my question. She invests. I waited 6 months to raise rent on an inherited tenant. They gladly accept the 50% increase because the entire building and unit was completely transformed, right? Guys, we're people. We're humans. Can I have $50? I know I just bought the building, but can I have $50? What? Are you the leader? Are you the owner? Is that how you lead? Is that how you own? No, invest in the people. Invest in your asset. Invest in the people. See how they are. And then you can easily have the conversation with them and just say, yeah, this is kind of what we're doing and blah, blah, blah. And, this is how we want to do it. And, we'd love it if you would stay, but understand if you can't, but and then binder strategy them. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Wealth of rentals. I've been like a machine lately. I like it. Machines are good. Jordan Smith. Yep. Picture with the house number in it. Picture with the house number in it. I don't know what that means. Sean Lambert. When you were still in your W-2, any tricks you did to juggle the rentals? When you're doing the work yourself, or did you have a team helping you? I've been taking PTO and do higher work. Thanks, Matt. You're welcome. Yeah, it was just, I worked nonstop. Every weekend was spoken for when I was doing the work. The other thing that I would do is, for sure, I would hire out to contractors, and then I would go hang out with them at night or on the weekends. That was part of the value of getting somebody that was a weekend warrior or already had their real day job. They worked on a crew and then they did side work. That was one of the values of that, is that they were going to be there at night or they were going to be there on the weekends. And that was the time that I wanted to be able to spend with them. Yeah. So that's the trick. The trick is there's no secrets there. You work a ton, you hire guys that do this on the weekend warrior basis. They still have the licenses they need. They still have the skills, but they're going to be there on a Saturday or a Sunday, right? Or you just say, hey, can I get you for a Saturday and a Sunday for 3 weeks? Or can I get you for Saturdays for 6 weeks? That's one of the things you can do to lower your costs. Now you have to take into account that you're probably going to have more carry, right? However, you're also learning the skill. And if they say, hey, this is how you do this, then they might not work Sunday, but you could. Like I did that plenty of times where I was just like, okay, let's get going. And so we would go through the process. And then by 3:00 on Saturday, they're jetting. I'm staying there till 7 or 8. And then I'm back there on Sunday after church and I'm plowing through and I'm doing another 7 or 8 hours. And I show up for work on Monday morning. And yeah, that was a lot of work. That was a lot of work. Money goes where it's treated best. Very true story. You're exactly right. Wealth building journey. Chester. Yeah. Caroline Levitt is quite an assertive firebrand. She definitely suffers no fools. New Hampshire. That's how we are here. We don't suffer idiots. And we even have to tell you, we're kind enough to tell you that you're an idiot. I think that's nice. I wouldn't want to be running around like an idiot and not anybody ever actually quantify what an idiot I'm being. I like to help. Hey, Trade Better 99, Evening Lumberjack. Did you have an aha moment that made you realize you needed to be a better salesman for off-market deals? As humbly as I can say this, no, because it's what for me, sales has always been very, very, very different. It's just a different thing. You guys know from seeing kind of how I do this stuff is I value those relationships that I have in my life, and I want to be respectful when we're having a conversation, but I have very matter-of-fact conversations. And so for me, it's, I had a deal that I don't know if it blew up or not, but they basically came back to me and they're like, hey, we're going to do a CMA. And I'm like, after the last 2 or 3 weeks that we spent on this, you're now like, well, yeah, the weak link was the fact that there were 4 people making the decision and 3 people liked my idea. And one of them was like, no, we need to do a CMA. CMA, what's that mean? That means that they're going to go out and do a bunch of research and talk to realtors and I can get you this much more. I said, okay, like have them show it to you. Like do a CMA. That's fine. Your house has foundation issues, 20 grand worth at least. And how many people are going to walk through that door and have a Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac mortgage option and they're not going to be able to use it because it's not going to meet the condition? Like this is the silliness. So they have to be able to handicap. What they have to do is they have to be able to handicap the risk. They have to be able to handicap the risk of that. And the fact that I might not be there because they know, I said, I can't my offer isn't an open offer. It's open right now for what we're trying to do. Fairly easy. So yeah, great question. But yeah, as far as like you get more comfortable doing it and you just see more scenarios. But again, if your goal always is, hey, what makes sense? Like, what are you trying to accomplish? Maybe I can help. Maybe they ask for some crazy, stupid high number. Okay, well, you're not really serious about selling then at that number. You might as well just bring it to market, but then you're going to pay 8% in closing fees. So if you're offering $500,000, if the number is $500,000, the crazy thing about it is you can look at it and you can just go, huh, interesting. Well, if we do this $500,000 deal, you're still going to end up giving up 8 points, which is $40,000. And you're telling me no at 450. Like, you think you got a full price offer there coming in the door? And you might beat me by a little bit, but you're going to have to close in 60 days or something stupid. Like, no, it's dumb. It's just dumb. Master Coach University. How are you, sir? Good to see you. Dragging my wife to the event. Oh, so super cool. I'm excited to see you guys and meet you. So you guys can inspire her to go along with my real estate schemes. That said, she is open to flipping, just works day and night harder than me. Yeah, and I get that. I get that. And so I think one of the conversations and one of the things that we're actually going to present on in that time that we're spending with you guys out there in Vegas is kind of our division of labor and kind of how we do stuff. Ashley, my wife, spends a majority of the time with the kids. She does. Now, I get to spend a lot more time with my kids than most dads do, but my wife spends more time with the kids than I do because we've got two kids that are one's at home 24/7 and another one that's home 3 days a week during the school week. So yeah. So it's understanding the division of labor and putting yourself in a position where it's let's just check and find out. Let's check and find out what's a reasonable expectation. Let's get on the same page. I think it's really good. And that's what we're going to teach you guys. Because I can tell you, I won't spoil it, but Ashley had some really hard startups. And it's not because she's bad or a wimp or anything like that. It's just she had some really tough startups because I was used to everything and she wasn't used to anything. Farinelli, give me your number and we can add you to the WhatsApp group for Vegas. Oh, very cool, guys. Yeah, that's awesome. That's very awesome. I get into town on Thursday. I think in the afternoon. And then I think we leave Monday night. We've got some plans just because we're not taking the kids with us. Our amazing, or my amazing in-laws and my wife's parents are taking the 4 kids. 5 days with my 4 kids, and you're not Olympic trained to handle that. Oh, yeah. Yep. Angel R. I invest in PA. Yep. Wilkes-Barre. Yep. Requires this, but 10 minutes away, no filing. Yeah. They hit me with $200 plus of interest for not filing. Hate to sell, but never again here. And here's the thing, Angel, that's exactly right, my man. When you find out that the rules have changed, there's one of my markets that I'm likely going to not buy in anymore. Not with the potential of any development. They've made it so intrusive and so aggressive and so unreasonable that, yeah, in all likelihood, I'm not going to do any further development projects here. We're actually hastening some stuff through the process now to make sure it's all going to get approved. Rick Carrington. Hi, Rick. Good to have you here. Do you experience shopping around for different insurance every 6 to 8 months beneficial? Not every 6 to 8 months. It seems they raise it after that with no claims. For my renewals, yeah. So the idea is take them away. Every once in a while, you have to take them away. So we have 3 main insurance companies that we use, and we kind of bounce back and forth between 2 of them. And if both of them are horrible, then we'll go to somebody else. But yeah, yep. And we have that's where the importance of an agent, that's where an agent's very important, is because you can actually have that conversation with them and say, this is what I want to see. That's what's really valuable about that. You can say, this is what I want to see. And you can say, who are the people that you're carrying for? Well, who's had better rates more recently? One of the things is that they have underwriters in some of the big, huge, biggest, massive companies in the world. Guess what? They're underwriting it based on exposure and losses in Florida and California and North Carolina. And I don't want that exposure. So I want somebody that's almost got in-house underwriting that's more specific. They might be marginally more expensive, but they take better into an account that every year that I'm not going to just pay them 12% more. Not going to happen. The other key too is that, having a higher deductible puts me in a better spot than most. for a long time, um, for the insurance companies, it's been, hey, heads you win, tails we lose. Like with $1,000 deductible, $2,000 deductible, how much everything costs, they're always having to pay for something. And that's why, like, think about what that model is. That's what makes it really hard. So yeah, so I do shop it around. But I really do a lot of that through the broker. And then I just kind of keep my eye on where those numbers are, because they go into our system so they can count as expense to the property. And then we can just kind of see throughout the course of the year, like how that property tracked. And okay, finally, hi. OT work tonight. I love it. I will catch up later. That's okay. It's great to see you, Anna. Thanks for jumping in. I'm going to suck it up for now, but won't buy in this town ever again. Anna invest not too far. I'm going to ask her. Yeah, that's awesome. Guys, work that network, right, guys? Wealth with Rentals. For those going to Vegas, I hope you have a great and fun time. It'll be a blast. The Denny stuff is fun. I usually have to, because I just don't want to get sick before the whole weekend. So I'll be at both of them, but I just won't be there till like 2 or 2:30 in the morning. Gets too late. It's just too late, especially when we're going to be at the event from 8 to 8 on Saturday. That's a long day, guys. That's a long day, because I want to spend that time with you guys. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited for the trip. Jordan Smith, with a 203K, do you still have to have a HUD approved consultant? So I don't know if that's the terminology they use for it, if they changed the name, Jordan. I can tell you that I didn't have to have, when I did mine, I didn't have to have a HUD consultant. I only had to have the 2 inspections. And with a 203K, because it was streamlined, you only get 2 disbursements, one in the beginning and then one at the end. So it was just a matter of basically the person walking through at the end to see that it was all done. That was all the exposure. If you do a regular 203K, and that's a regular construction loan, then you usually have to have that person, because every single time you want to draw, which is typically 3 to 5 times or 5 to 7 times, that's what you get good at as you're doing these projects too. When you have to do that draw, the biggest challenge in doing that draw is the fact that when that person comes out on site, it's $300 because they have paperwork and things like that to do. And so that's what also gets more expensive. So if you just do the 2, you actually can get away from that fee. And usually it's just an appraiser walking through saying, yeah, it's done. No, it's not. That sort of thing. It's been a while since I've looked into them, but I remember them being a pain in the point. It was hard to find. Yeah. So no, not in my market, no approved consultant, but I did the 203K streamline, but there was no approved consultant needed. The only thing that was needed was the payment that was sent out in the beginning. And that's why they make the contractors sign off on everything and prove insurance and the whole 9 yards. Like, they have to fill everything out because HUD's going to hold them responsible. And then on the back side, it was just that last final visit. And then the person would say, yep, it's approved. Everything's done. Check. We're good. Wandering Doc, what's up, buddy? What lavish, wonderful place are you in now, my man? Let's see. Wealth with Rentals. Rick, one of the interesting things is I talked to an insurance agent was to take out the loss of use, and that saves money in premium. Interesting. Yeah, it definitely does. And so that's like no backup on rent. So if you did so here's the thing though. If, for example, you had some major calamity, fire, whatever, and it took you a year to rebuild, that loss of use is actually, they pay you your full leased amount rent for that time when somebody's gone. The thing that you have to keep in mind is when that thing burns down, are you going to be the one rebuilding? You're still going to have to pay your mortgage. Like, do you have that kind of money? Because you can be sitting there going, build faster, but they can't build any faster than 5 or 6 months. So you're 6 months out of rent and you're still having to pay that mortgage. That's why with insurance, that's a risk I'm not willing to take. I want that loss of use insurance in there. Yeah, I just do. I'll go with a higher deductible, but I want that loss of insurance in there because, again, I use insurance like I'm supposed to use insurance. I'm not using it for a fender bender. I am using it if something catastrophic happens. Angel R. Chris, let's connect with the ORAC group. Yeah, Angel, you and Chris should absolutely connect. Yep, you guys absolutely share. I was in and out sleeping trying to internalize the knowledge. Wandering Doc, you got to be awake if you're going to listen to me. It's tough. All-nighter. I was doing the same. Now I'm eating dinner and still listening. Good call. Culp. Angel, I'll be at the event. Oh yeah, very cool. Looking that have been nervous with floodplain risk. Yeah, like that large multi-unit near Kirby Park Center. Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Angel and Chris, you guys are both in the course. Message each other in the course. That's what the community is there for. All nighter. I told Denny's to be ready for our party. Start coming around 11 p.m. Even though we officially start at midnight. Yeah, dude, it's gonna be crazy. Wayne, yeah, same as last time. If you look on Zoob's channel, or actually no, Dion did one. Look at Dion's live. He's got the address in there. It's like West Las Vegas or something like that. I can't remember exactly. Angel R, I'm in local in the area. Flood risk is minimal with the lever installed over it. With the levee. Yeah. Yep. New Yorkers have ruined the market, so be careful. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, they get kind of a bad rap, but I understand because we get mass holes in New Hampshire. Just one of those things that happens. We get them. They changed some of our state politics. Now we're having to fight our butts off on some things that never, ever, ever were an issue. Now they're becoming an issue because these morons from these other states come in here and they're like, well, this is really how you should do it. You left your state because that's how they did it. And now you want to come here and F up my state and make us do it that way? Go away. Go away. We don't need you here. Go away. Go back home. See you later. Oh, it's obnoxious. So unbelievably obnoxious. What do I know? Crimson, I will probably be at the Denny's as long as possible. Remember, a business day is 4 hours according to the IRS. Yeah, I know, right? So yeah, we'll be there. Yeah, like it's like gonna be like 11 to like 2 o'clock in the morning. Like I went last time. I had just retired. I still actually have the note hider. I know I have it. I just saw it last week. Hyder left a note because Hyder stayed with us. Hyder left a note on my pillow that said, sit your retired ass here. That was really funny. I thought that was good. That was good. I just, my last day in the workforce was, Valentine's Day of 2024. And I'll be there for Valentine's Day again. But that was my last day of working was Valentine's Day 2024. And then literally the next day I got on a plane and I flew to Vegas and I went to the Report Rat event. That's how it went. And it was an absolute blast. I wouldn't change anything. I really had a good time. It was great meeting everybody. It's always great. I mean, I love hanging out with my guys. Millennial Mike, Zoob. Zoob did an amazing job at the event too. It was so much fun. So much fun. Exhausted, but so much fun. Yep, there's the address right there. So guys, if you're wondering where the address is, there it is. 2310 East Lake Mead Boulevard, North Vegas. North Vegas. That's what it was. Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah. That note was really fun to write. Yeah. Yeah. It was weird. The next day, so there's a 3-hour time difference. And so I got there and, was exhausted. Just raw and fresh I walked away from my job. I'm never going back to work again. And not there. So, just immensely blessed. Yeah. Immensely blessed. Midnight Pacific, is 3 a.m. for me. Yes, no, I know. And you met, yeah, we're both on the, yeah, dude, it's hard. It was hard. It was hard. Like, but honestly, I got there and all the energy and guys, the people that are going to be speaking on day 2, Jeff and Saleka, they're in the course. If you're in the boot camp, you get to meet them. They're in the boot camp this time around. They're absolutely, absolutely awesome. I love them to death. So privileged to, be doing this journey, with them. My journey and theirs, not just me being a part of theirs, but them being a part of mine. They're just spectacular people. They actually opened up the speaking on Sunday. So, I'm just super excited about that. I really am. Yeah, they're great people. Angel R. Matt, what's one thing you wish you had done sooner in your investing journey? Wealth Building says, Matt, my guess would be start sooner. I couldn't have started a whole lot sooner because I was too young. So think about it. So I'm 47 and I've been doing this for 24 years. So 23 is when I started. Cody started a little bit younger than me, but and he was able to do seller-based financing, and that just really wasn't a thing back in the early 2000s. We had just gotten through the dot-com bomb, so if you figure out the math, right, we had just finished the dot-com bomb. We had a lot of tech companies completely go out of business. I was in tech, so banks were a little bit leery about giving us money. But if I had one thing to do over again, what would I have done? If I'd done one thing over again, I wouldn't have bought in the market that I did. That was my mistake. I bought a condo with an HOA and got obliterated there. $70,000. I looked at the sale on that property, and I think I made like $20,000 or something like that, I want to say. And they were willing, but the 20,000 I made, or 25,000 I made, or maybe it was 30. Actually, it was $30,000 I made. That paid for the agent. It gave me literally a few $1,000s. But then they had to take on the responsibility of the assessed. There was a special assessment coming against the building for that unit for $70,000. It wiped out $70,000 of equity. So I walk away from a deal where I could have walked away with 80 grand in cash to buy the next thing. I walk away and I get 10 or less than 10. I think it was like 8 and change. It was awful. Neil, am I doing seller financing deals now? Yes, I did one. Like 5 months ago, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. Yeah. Yep. And I'm working on another one now as well. Yep. Absolutely. I am. Absolutely. Of course the agents take it all. Yeah. I mean, well, that wasn't their fault. What actually took the most was the stupid special assessment. Like, I never expected for a house that was on the water. It was on like a bay outside of Boston. I never expected for a contractor, for a company, to use a product that wasn't rated to be used within 5 miles of the ocean. But it was, and that company had gone bankrupt. There was no money left behind. So the only option for us was special assessment. $70,000 was what my unit was going to cost. Because I think the entire building, I want to say the entire building was going to be like 9 to $11 million or something like that. And my piece was 70. That was such a bummer. Rick Carrington, do you have any tips on the painting panel interior doors? Painting panel. So are you just talking about like a solid wood door, or are you talking about a hollow core door, or what are you talking about? Let me know and I'm happy to answer you. Angel R, was the condo 70,000 down payment or total price? No, the condo was 380, I think, was the condo price. I want to say 380,000. Yeah, I think the condo was like 380. But that's my whole story. That's why I was doing house hacking before anybody was. And it was basically just a roommate, because I went to the bank and they literally laughed at me and they said, "You can't afford this place." And I was like, "What?" Like, "Yeah, you can't afford this." I was like, "But I have checks." They're like, "No." I was like, "But I have a good income." They're like, "No, you can't afford it." No. And I was like, "What can I do to afford it?" And one person after another told me no. And then finally somebody goes, "Just get a roommate." I was like, "Get a roommate? What? He's like, "Yeah, get a roommate." I was like, "Okay." And he goes, "We can actually count there." At the time, they could count my rent or their rent towards the mortgage payment. And then it was basically adjusting my income, because it wasn't just I was making an extra $12,000 a year. They were reducing the number of, they were reducing the amount of my payment, because this person was going to pay that rent, and they gave me 75%. And so I was like, wait a tick. So that's the only way that I was able to buy that condo, was by having that buddy. That's it. And then, I think he then ended, after like 2 years, he moved out, and I think I sold like a little bit thereafter. But yeah, First time meeting Matt in person. Yeah, after all these years, even though we live an hour away. I know. It's crazy, right? That's absolutely insane. Is Redion coming? He's probably too busy rehabbing houses. I know Ned Talks is coming. Kind of like that very first group. Culp. I love that Culp's coming. That's fantastic. Culp, did you go to the last one? I don't think you did. Rick Carrington. I have a condo with a special assessment coming up at the end of March. I'm not looking forward to it. Oh man, yeah, I totally get it. That sucks. That sucks. Dion says thin nap for doors, 3/8 or thinner. Yeah, you can certainly do that. Depending on the kind of door, I actually also like if it has like a masonite finish, I actually like using the foam rollers. But my actual preference is I would far rather have somebody come in and spray the entire house, or you can also get a painter. If you just bring all the doors outside, you put a stamp in the top of them. You bring all the doors outside to like a garage area, or you can even put them in the living room, and then you just basically stand them up and like attach them to each other. You can actually get them sprayed. My preference is to get them sprayed because there's no amount of dirt that you can't wipe off because you use semi-gloss paint. You also use something called an HVLP tip on the paint gun. Not you, but the painter. So the HVLP tip stands for H high, V volume, L low, P pressure. HVLP. Yeah, Grove's in the middle. Should I spray gun? Yeah, I mean, painting interior doors that are not flat. Yeah. Yep. So we see that all the time. Me personally, I mean, Dion's approach works. The 3/8 are thinner. I also like those foams. Me personally, like I said, you can get a finish that will last, that will just last. Never chips, never gets dirty that you can't wipe it off. I just love the look of an HVLP sprayed door and trim. And that's why we got to go to lengths to get our stuff sprayed. That's why we actually do it that way. Yeah. Use the toe of the roller in the corner of the panels. Yep. Of the door to make sure to coat that evenly with no pooling. Yep. That can run after you walk away. Very true. For boot camp Saturday night, 8 p.m. is the time, right? Yes, it is. You guys should have gotten all the invites. For those of you who signed up, like I said, 3 spots left. Get in there. If you're not in there, get in there. 3 spots left. Christine Wilkes says use a brush for the grooves and then roll out the flat parts. That's also an option. Yep. Jim Van Tessel, I have a blow up spray booth. Works awesome. Controlled environment. Oh, those are the dream, right? So the blow up spray booths are basically like it's like basically like a tent where you can put everything up. You put plastic on the floor and you get the fan running and zoom, 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 and boom, there you go. You're done. It's amazing. 8 Eastern or Pacific? 8 Eastern, sir. 8 Eastern. Yep. 8 Eastern on Saturday. I thought that was in the email. Sorry if it wasn't. Sorry if that wasn't. Yeah, spraying the doors is just a game changer. Yep. I love the spray. More thin coats is better than fewer thick coats when painting. Yep. Sucks, but it's true. Yeah. I just love the, HVLP. You guys will see the project house, guys. It's been almost 2 months since I went to the project house. I finally got unburied enough where I got the kitchen should be here in like a week. So I'm very excited for the kitchen to get here because I've heard, I can't confirm, but I've heard that almost everything else is wrapped up there. All the trim out is done. I think the final painting is being done and then we're just sliding the kitchen in and I think then we're done there. Yeah. I mean, right now I've got like a little over 14 hours, but that's it. Didn't see the boot camp time and Zoom link in the site last night. Are they posting it tomorrow? Yeah, they will. Yep, for sure. Yep, they would definitely post that. We wanted to get that out to everybody, make sure that they knew. Hey, make sure you're there. Let's see. Jim, I have a pop-up shade cover. Yep, I use as well. Spray booth. Yep, just add plastic. Love them. Love them. Yeah, I will make sure. Oh, excuse me. I will make sure that Harry gets that out there tomorrow. Yeah, happy to do that. Yeah, no Zoom links. Yeah, I didn't think we have to get the Zoom link in there. Okay, cool. We'll get the Zoom link in there tomorrow. Yeah, those will be in there tomorrow. Like to control the heat in the winter. Yeah, I get that too, for sure. Yeah, you want to get that stuff warmer in there so it actually, will stick and adhere to the surface a whole lot better, and then literally kind of like bake on and bake in. But yeah, when you use that HVLP sprayer, it's just, you guys, once you see the difference of a door that's been rolled or painted versus one that's actually sprayed, you'll probably never go back. It looks like you use that much better of a product, and it's not that. It's really just the how it's how it's sprayed on. You're in Da Nang, Vietnam. Very cool. Da Nang. Pretty interesting place. Great example of free market competition resulting in low prices and higher quality of certain goods and services. Completely agree. Vietnam is now a world superpower when it comes to manufacturing and production. Good for them. Good for them, man. Good for them. They saw what was happening with China and they stepped up. They stepped up. They stepped in. It used to be a whole lot less expensive. But yeah, crazy. Cleaning Crimson Knight. The only thing with painting doors and trim, I never want to put oil or shellac primer through a paint sprayer. Yeah, cleaning those are total. I totally agree with you. Yep, totally agree with you. I use kind of hammock stand to spray the doors horizontally and can spin them. Yeah, exactly. Yep, just like a rotisserie. Yeah, just like a rotisserie. Yep. Yeah, very good stuff with Vietnam and the Philippines. Yeah, for sure. A lot of Jennifer's resources are in the Philippines, and they speak phenomenal English. So here's what I'll give you for my closing thoughts this evening. Number one, love spending time with you guys. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't have it any other way. Second thing is, if you want different results for 2025, do something different. If you have a conversation with Jen, it's not going – have a conversation with her. Know what you're saying no to. Know what you're saying no to. At least have the conversation with her. Know what you're saying no to. The third thing is, and this is rude of me to say, but this is just how I feel, and I always share with you how I feel. If you're trying to get deals and you are trying to win at the real estate game, why aren't you trying more in different things to try and get you to win? Did you buy a deal in 2024? What did it look like? Was it a crappy return? Do you think you could have gotten better? What's the new strategy that you have for 2025? What are the strategies you have? Were they only MLS? Earmuffs, Dion. Earmuffs. But this is why I think it's just so super important. If you're really trying to grow as an investor and not grow the portfolio, guys, I have 1031s. I have properties that I'm going to be selling out of. I need to know that I can roll into another deal. If I can't roll into another deal, I'm in deep trouble. I'm going to owe a bunch of taxes. I don't want to owe a bunch of taxes. 1031. That's the best plan for me. It's 1031. I don't have to own a bunch of taxes. So that's one of the things that I would encourage you with. I think that it's critically important that if you want different results for 2025, that you better be doing different things. Zub and I were right, and Dion was right too. Higher for longer. Rates high sixes, low sevens. There's not this big rush for people to get out of properties, like especially income properties. They're not happening. So like I said, schedule a conversation with Jen. She's super helpful. I get nothing out of it. It's really what I know is what was best for my business. The newest and most different thing I did this last year was I spent 9 months looking for a Jen. Then I found her and I spent 4 months using her and love the results I got. And now I have a funnel. Now I have a pipeline of deals that I'll be able to pull from. But that's just me. Fuji Spray makes a great HVLP system using fans on demand, not a 60-gallon compressor. Nicer for smaller jobs. Yeah, Fuji does. And then what's the other one out there too? Graco. They have one too. It's pretty nice. Associate of Southeast Asian nations, countries are riding the trend wave of adopting free market economics, and first world countries are investing heavily there. That's absolutely true. And what most people don't understand is the Philippines, many of them are very highly educated. And it's a pretty wealthy area. It can be a very wealthy area. Wandering Doc and Matt, none of your workmates are even supportive of what you did. Did you get even a single call saying, thank you, Matt, for hard work you'll put in and the guidance? So when I was leaving, I made the point of calling every person. Yeah. I spent 2 days making phone calls, just calling and thanking them because it meant a lot to me. They supported me through my career. Um, I touched 80+% of the revenue that came in that company's door. But each and every person did their part to help make that possible. So I took the time to call every single person and thank them. Many of them voiced their displeasure that I was leaving. And I have, outside of like transition calls for like for the couple of weeks after I left, I have gotten 2 phone calls, and these people I worked with for 17 years. Sadly, I learned really quickly, and this might be a character flaw for them. It might be I'm an idiot and I shouldn't have expected anything. It was a smaller company, and I kept the doors open for a lot of years based on my ability to attract other talent, put the right people in the right roles because I was an executive, and then execute on the plans that I had without much support even from the ownership that I had. It was the closest people to be there I'm the most disappointed in. I helped them immensely in their careers. And I got what's the word? Almost guilted into trying to say long ago, but just a few more years. I'm like, no, I stayed for just a few more years. I don't want to do this anymore. I've put myself in a position, and finally I got mad. And my answer was this: you know what? I'm tired of you asking me to just do this and just stay and just more. Why can't you just be, you should be like the most happy for me. You've been a part of this journey the most. And you were the one that saw me. Guys, there was a 2-year period that I worked there where I had a total of 13 days off. 13 days in 2 years. But yeah, to Hyder's point, expectations are a prerequisite of disappointment. And I think that I had stayed on. They knew that I had stayed on longer than I wanted to. I got the company sold. And I wasn't like, I'm out of here. Like, I didn't get the company sold and then I like ran. I actually got the company sold and then I stayed, and I just hated the environment. Every single time I went and had a conversation, it was, oh, well, you're just not doing that right. I was like, okay, all right, I'm not doing it right. You're the brilliant one. I'm the idiot. You're smart. I'm dumb. You know how to do this. I just muddle through. So at the end of the day, it was most disappointing. What was really funny is I built an amazing team of salespeople, one that I was really blessed to be able to lead because they were immensely talented. And I loved working with them. I didn't have to babysit them at all. They were just immensely talented people. And all of those people that left, I understood why they left me and why they said why it was time to move on, but I still stayed in contact with all of them. I'm thrilled for all of them. They've all had amazing careers. And I was just immensely blessed to be able to spend time with them in the trenches, working those years, working those hours, getting the wins that we got with some pretty massive clients when we were a smaller company. But yeah, still really disheartened and just, it's the one thing that made me sit back and think, maybe I should have left earlier. Because I stuck around. I stuck around for a longer time. And if you guys hadn't heard, I work a lot. That's why this whole lazy thing with Dion is really hard for me. But I'm trying. I know I can be lazier if I just keep on trying. But yeah, honestly, like when you don't be in a rush to run out of your job, but don't have the expectation that they have any expectation or any real genuine hope for you that you're going to go, and that they're only going to see the impact that it makes on them in their job. And largely they're not going to give a flying flip about what you're doing, which was kind of surprising me because these are people that I had personal relationships, spent a lot of time with them, talked to them multiple times every single day. When there was a problem, we were the ones sitting there figuring it out, trying to fix the problem. So yeah, so that's what I would tell you. I would tell you that that was the most disappointing thing, and that's the only thing that made me sit there and question and go, you know what? Maybe it was the right. Maybe I should have just left earlier. I should have probably just left 2 years earlier. But God's timing's perfect, and so I think on it that thought enters into my head. Then I go, but I was there as long as I needed to be. It was okay. Still wish them all the best. But I know some other folks have moved on, and I've talked with some of them that have moved on. And yeah, they're going to have a great life. Yeah. Wealth Building Journey says disappointment happens when expectations do not line up with reality. Very much. Paraphrasing the quote, but it's one of the most poignant quotes I've ever heard. Yeah, that's very much the case. I think, but that's across the board in life. I think the issue is that many people expect that humans are good and that humans will root for you because that's how we are. But I think what's really funny is that that's what I love about this community is that we all root for each other. A win for any of you is not a loss for me. In fact, very often it's a win for me. I love when you guys win. I want to celebrate that because I know how hard this is and you guys are winning. And even in my own market, like there's another house, like I'll win the next one. That's fine. But yeah, that's why I'm really proud of this community. I'm excited to do this event. That's why a lot of times, many of I won't say all, but many of the people that Zoob has on this channel, they're all real go-givers and they're not in this for self-serving reasons. They're just not. And so, and I mean, I can tell you that for any of us, the trip, I mean, you guys will see how expensive your trip is to get out there. I mean, you're $2,000-3,000. That's what we're spending to go out there, plus food and everything else. Like it's going to cost me $5,000 to go out there and back, but I don't care because it's an investment that I want to continue to make in you. And, I want to spend time with you guys. So that's how I feel. Neil, corporate world is killing me, but I imagine a real estate path would take at least 7 to 10 years, replacing enough cash flow at this point. Yeah, Neil, you're dead on. You're dead on. That was exactly, that's why I grew and wanted to grow as much as I did. That was the purpose and the point was because I could always shed cash flow. I could always shed assets, but I wanted to build it as big as I possibly could. So I then had the control to reduce it as much as I wanted to. So that's where I think for me, what I always viewed this as was, hey, if I grow it a lot bigger, like I never expected to get to 150 doors. That wasn't the plan. The plan was never to get to 150 doors. The plan was, hey, let's do great deals. Oh, well, we learned how to do great deals. We do them over and over and over and over. And then you get a lifetime event where all of a sudden the math didn't work. And what it means is it didn't work in the risk factor because I could buy properties for the same price as I could 3 months earlier, except I can buy it with debt that's half the price. Well, guess what happened? I did everything I could to make that work for me as much as I could. And hopefully there's another event like that. I did a worse job. I did a much worse job of it during the great financial crisis, much worse job of it then. This time I feel like I did a much, much better job. But yeah, that's why I'll keep on growing it because I want to do great deals, but I'm not going to artificially speed things up because that's when you start to make mistakes and you can start to potentially do questionable deals. Jim says, do you have employees or subcontract the work? I subcontract. So, we have an employee. We have one. Yep. We have one employee. We have one. Yep. And the reason that we did that was because it was a better option for us than subbing that out. And the IRS, based on the fact that that person spent all their time on our stuff, it was just the IRS was going to eventually call that person an employee anyway. So we just figured, yeah, let's just do the right thing for them and for their family when we wanted to provide them with insurance and things like that. And so it was a great balance for us. And so absolutely love that. Yeah, absolutely love that. Love what we're doing. So yeah, we have one employee. Yep. And then everybody else is subs, everything else. Right now we've got about 13 subs working. Yeah. People, not different companies. We have about 13 different individuals that are parts of maybe 4 or 5 different companies. So yeah. And I like the subcontract thing. I don't want to be responsible for driving that amount of work for them. And that's one of the things that kind of scares me, is having to, do I have enough work where I can make that person valuable, where I can see that return on my capital? We're making some transitions. We're reducing, we had a couple of subs that were like 100% us. And now one of them is going to be going down to like 30% us. And then the other one will probably go away. We had the conversation about a week or so ago. So we'll see how that kind of happens. But that's a great question. That's exactly what we want to talk about. So I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic night. It's always a pleasure to spend time with you guys, be a part of this journey. If you think there's issues that you're going to have or things that you want to accomplish and do new in 2025, if you want to focus on becoming a much stronger salesperson with creating and following up leads that are not an MLS deal, that's going to be in the boot camp. That's what we're going to do. It's going to be in the boot camp. We're going to hit that point home fast. You're in good hands. I have 27 years of experience in sales, or what we would call hand-to-hand combat. Yeah, consider it. Like I said, if you're already in the course, it's only $1,000. If you're new and fresh, it's $19.95. But yeah, would love to see you guys in there with those last 3 spots. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Search me. My whole entire family's been sick, and it's been rotating through with my 4 kids. So for like the last 7 weeks, we've all been sick. So yeah, response rate's been garbage, but you see me now. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thanks for letting me be a part of the journey. If you have any questions about the boot camp, let me know. And hey, guys, have a great one. See ya.